Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into, well, something pretty fundamental and often really strange: animal mating rituals.
Absolutely. It's this incredible intersection of biology, survival, and sometimes just utter weirdness.
Yeah, you look across the planet, and complex life has figured out reproduction in so many different ways,
Oh,
often bizarre ways.
We're talking elaborate dances, these huge biological
And
billboards.
even things like identity theft, right?
Yeah,
Or strategies that seem pretty violent.
exactly. So, our mission today isn't just to list off weird facts, though there are plenty.
Oh, I bet.
We want to go right back to the evolutionary roots. How did sex even start?
Okay.
And then trace how that led to all these ingenious, sometimes kind of traumatic strategies animals use. It's all about solving one problem: find a mate, make sure your genes get passed on.
So it's like an evolutionary arms race.
Pretty much fueled by survival. We want to show how maybe a tiny accident way back involving DNA somehow resulted in things like peacock tails, massive elephant seals clashing, and even the unsettling habits of bedbugs.
Okay, I'm hooked already. Bed bugs. Right, let's start at the beginning then. You said way back, like over 1 billion years ago.
Before multicellular life was really even a thing. And the original point wasn't really creation like we think of it now.
No, what was it then?
It was more about maintenance, believe it or not. The very first mating, if you can call it that, was likely a single-celled organism dealing with a constant problem: DNA damage.
Damage, like mutations.
Exactly. Cells are always getting hit with stuff that causes mutations. So at some point, one cell kind of stumbled on a trick.
Which was?
It could use DNA from another cell, a slightly different instruction manual, to spot and fix the errors in its own genetic code.
Wow. So like a biological spell checker using a friend's dictionary?
That's a great way to put it. It was like a cellular first aid kit, an accidental repair job.
So sex wasn't invented to make babies. It was invented to fix the parents. That's kind of mind-blowing.
It really is. And that accidental fix eventually became more formal, more structured. It stabilized into the process we now know as meiosis.
Right, meiosis, shuffling the genetic deck.
Precisely, combining DNA from two individuals to make a new cell. Now, jump forward hundreds of millions of years,
Okay.
and this simple repair system gets specialized. Suddenly, you don't just have cells swapping DNA for repairs, you have two very distinct types of sexual cells emerging.
Here we go, sperm and eggs.
You got it. Millions and millions of tiny, cheap, mobile cell sperm, basically DNA delivery missiles.
Okay.
And then far fewer, much larger cells, eggs carrying DNA, plus all the energy, the nutrients, everything needed to actually start growing a new organism. A huge investment.
And that specialization, that resource difference, that's the key, isn't it? That's what drives everything we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. It creates this fundamental imbalance. If you're the one producing the sperm, the cheap stuff.
You got to compete fiercely for access to those valuable, resource-rich eggs.
Exactly. The pressure is immense. And that pressure is what powers all the flashy, attention-grabbing stuff we see. Animals need to advertise. They need to stand out.
We see it everywhere, especially with birds. Birds of paradise doing those incredible dances, puffing up.
Performance art, basically.
Yeah. But the classic example has to be the peacock, right? With that massive tail.
Oh, definitely.
It seems so counterintuitive. It's huge, heavy, makes them obvious to predators. Why would peahens go for that? It looks like a massive liability.
Because the liability is the message. It's called the handicap principle. The peacock is essentially shouting,
Look at me.
look how fit I am. I can drag this ridiculous, beautiful target around all day, find food, avoid predators, and grow this thing. My genes must be amazing.
So the cost proves the quality.
Precisely. The handicap itself signals genetic health. Same idea with frigate birds inflating that huge red throat pouch.
Right, the big scarlet billboard.
Yeah. If a male can maintain that big, bright sac, it tells the female he's healthy, parasite-free, a good provider, good sac, good genes, healthy sperm. It's all connected.
Okay, but how does a slightly longer feather or a slightly redder pouch suddenly spiral into these extreme features?
Yeah.
There has to be a mechanism driving that escalation.
There is. It's called runaway selection, and it's this fascinating, almost accidental feedback loop.
How does it work?
It might start simply. Maybe one female, just by chance, happens to prefer males with slightly longer tails.
Okay, random preference.
That male gets chosen more often.
Yeah.
He passes on his genes for a longer tail, and his daughters inherit their mother's preference for longer tails.
Ah, so the preference and the trait get linked genetically.
Exactly. Now, those daughters are disproportionately choosing males with the longest tails, and their sons have even longer tails.
It feeds back on itself.
It accelerates. The trait gets exaggerated more and more each generation. It's a positive feedback loop.
Until, when does it stop?
It only really stops when the trait becomes so absurdly costly. Like
Yeah.
the tail gets so heavy the male literally can't escape a fox or can't find enough food to sustain it, that natural selection, survival of the fittest, finally puts the brakes on it.
So sexual taste drives evolution into these crazy corners, balanced only by the raw need to survive. Wow.
It's powerful stuff.
Okay, but what if showing off visually isn't an option? Like if you live underground or it's always dark, then what?
Then we often see a shift. Instead of color and dance, the competition becomes about sheer size and strength. Physical dominance.
Right, sexual dimorphism, where males and females look really different.
In almost half of all mammal species, males are significantly bigger than females. And usually that size is all about one thing: fighting other males.
For territory or access to female.
Exactly. Think about elephant seals.
Oh yeah, huge size difference.
Massive. The males can be 10 times heavier than the females. And they fight these brutal, bloody battles to control a harem on the beach. The energy cost is insane, the risk of injury, even death.
But the payoff, getting to mate with dozens of females, must be worth the risk, evolutionarily speaking.
It has to be. But it leads to these bizarre practical problems, too. Like, the male is so enormous.
He has to be careful not to crush the female when they mate, right? I read that.
Yeah, he has to approach carefully from the side. A weird consequence of winning the size competition.
Okay, so we've had visuals, we've had size and fighting. What about the invisible world? The world of scent.
Now we're talking chemistry. For so many animals, looks are secondary or irrelevant. It's all about chemoreception, smell. It's the oldest sense.
Pheromones.
Absolutely critical. Finding a mate, checking their fitness, synchronizing reproduction, it's all done with chemical signals.
Dense packets of information, you said, in urine or other secretions.
Yep. And mammals often have a special tool to analyze them really carefully, beyond just the normal sense of smell, the vomeronasal organ.
Also called the Jacobson's organ.
That's the one.
And that's related to that funny face cats and horses sometimes make, when they smell something intense and pull their lip back.
Exactly, that's the Fleeman response. They're closing off their main nostrils to force that scent-laden air directly into the Jacobson's organs, like they're chemically squinting, getting a really close read on the pheromones.
Huh. So they're not disgusted, they're concentrating.
Precisely. But what happens if those chemical signals lie?
Uh-oh. Deception.
Exactly. Which brings us to a really clever strategy: the red-sided garter snakes.
Okay, what do?
So these snakes hibernate together in huge dens over winter. When they emerge in spring, they're cold, hungry, and very eager to mate.
Thousands of them.
Thousands. And when a mature female emerges, the males swarm her based on her pheromones. It creates these huge tangled knots called mating balls.
Sounds chaotic, hard for any one male to succeed.
Extremely. But here's the twist. Some males, they actually produce female pheromones.
No way. Identity theft among snakes.
You got it. They trick other males into swarming them.
But why? They can't mate with the other males.
Right. It's not directly for mating. The initial benefit is warmth. Being in the middle of that writhing ball of males warms the imposter up much faster after hibernation.
Ah, clever. So they use the competition for body heat.
Exactly. Once they're warm and active, while the other males are still sluggish or distracted, the imposter slips away, finds a real female who might have fewer competitors around her, and mates.
That's brilliantly sneaky.
Yeah.
Using the system against itself.
Evolution finds a way.
Okay, so that's deception. But sometimes grouping up is essential, right? Especially for species that fertilize externally. Mass spawning.
Absolutely. If your eggs and sperm are just released into the water, the odds for any single one are terrible. Synchronizing in massive numbers is the only way to ensure enough survive.
Like horseshoe crabs, showing up around Mother's Day on the East Coast.
A classic example. Females lay thousands of eggs in the sand, and the males are right there, often physically latched onto the female's back, ready to release sperm the moment the eggs are laid.
Safety in numbers and timing.
And then you have the grunion fish in California. Even more dramatic.
They come ashore.
Right up onto the beach on the high tide. Females burrow their tails into the wet sand to lay eggs. Males wrap around them to fertilize, all in this frantic, coordinated rush before the waves wash them back out. It's incredible to watch.
Amazing synchronization. But, okay, we need to shift gears a bit.
Yeah.
Internal fertilization offers more protection for the young, but it seems like it also opens the door for more conflict, sometimes pretty dark conflict.
It can, yes. The competition doesn't stop just because fertilization is internal. Sometimes it gets extreme and even parasitic.
Parasitic, like the anglerfish.
The ultimate example, perhaps. The male anglerfish is tiny compared to the female. His entire life goal is to find her in the deep, dark ocean.
And when he does?
He bites her, releases enzymes, fuses his mouth, his entire circulatory system to her body.
He becomes part of her.
Literally. He degenerates into basically just a pair of tests attached to her, providing sperm on demand, completely dependent on her blood for nutrients until they both eventually die. It's the ultimate sacrifice, or maybe the ultimate dependency.
Wow. That's intense. And then there's more direct internal conflict, right?
Yeah.
Competition even after mating begins.
Yes. Think about male cats. They have penis spines.
Spines? Ouch. Why?
Well, the research suggests a couple of grim possibilities. One, the scraping might physically trigger ovulation in the female.
Okay.
Or perhaps more likely, it's to scrape out or damage sperm left by any previous males she might have mated with, ensuring his sperm has the best chance.
Sperm competition taken to a physical level. Grim.
It gets rougher. Some hermaphroditic slugs engage in what's called penis fencing. They literally fight with their penises.
Seriously.
And sometimes one will bite the others off to prevent it from mating again.
Nature is metal. Okay, but you mentioned bedbugs. You said they were the worst.
By many accounts, yes. Their method is called traumatic insemination. It's pretty brutal.
How does it work?
The male doesn't use the female's reproductive tract at all. He has this sharp, harpoon-like penis.
Oh, no.
And he literally stabs her in the abdomen. He injects sperm directly into her body cavity, into her bloodstream.
That's horrific. Does it work?
It does lead to fertilization, but it causes physical damage, risks infection, and the really cruel irony, her immune system treats much of that sperm like a foreign invader and destroys it. It's incredibly violent and seemingly inefficient.
It feels like all this competition inevitably leads to conflict and aggression.
Yeah.
Is that always the case?
Not always. And that's the crucial contrast. It depends heavily on who holds the power in mate selection.
Meaning?
Look at bonobos, our close primate relatives. Compared to chimpanzees, they are remarkably peaceful.
Right. The make love, not war apes.
Kind of, yeah. And a key reason seems to be that bonobo females form very strong social bonds, strong coalitions. They collectively exert significant control over mate choice.
So female choice is high, and the result?
The result is that sex isn't primarily about aggression or just reproduction. They use it constantly for social bonding, for greetings, for making up after squabbles, for reducing tension.
So high female choice leads to a more peaceful, cooperative society.
It seems to be a major factor. When females call the shots, evolution can favor cooperation and social skills over brute force. It's a completely different dynamic.
So, okay, we've gone from a simple DNA repair trick.
A chemical accident, really.
All the way to peacock tails, anglerfish parasites, traumatic insemination, and bonobo peace treaties, all driven by the fundamental need to reproduce.
It's the engine of evolution for complex life. Every species you see has solved this problem, found a strategy that works for them, no matter how strange it looks to us.
What really stands out is just the sheer variety. There's no single right way, just ways that succeed. Survival hinges on finding a mate, period. Life finds a path, however bizarre or dangerous or even beautiful.
Exactly. Which leads to a final thought, maybe something for you, the listener, to consider. Given these incredibly powerful evolutionary pressures, we've talked about the drive for status, for costly signals, for securing a mate against competitors. How much of our own behavior, even today, our subtle preferences, maybe for certain status symbols or physical displays, how much of that is just a modern echo of the peacock's tail? Are we still, in subtle ways, driven by those same ancient rules of sexual selection?
Something to definitely think about as we navigate our own social jungles.
Absolutely. Food for thought.